So, hi everyone, my name's Arsh Ellahi. I'm here this evening, it's Sunday evening, and it is just approximately about 8 o'clock. So we're, as I said, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we're live on YouTube, and of course we're live on the webinar tonight. And the reason why tonight's so important is because tonight we're going to be talking very simply about how I traded 250 property deals in 2016 and made 1.25 million pounds worth of fees. Now, it sounds too good to be true. I'm going to be completely honest. Yes, if you don't know me, you don't know anything about me, you're going to think, well, why is this kid, why is this guy talking about what he's made in the last year? The reason why I'm going to talk about it very simply is because I think that you can actually do it too. So, first of all, I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for trusting me with your time this evening. I appreciate that time is one of the most precious commodities, and I guarantee that tonight is going to be the best investment that you make. So, one thing I'd like to do in actual fact before we move forward is that if you are following me on Instagram, if you are following me on YouTube, if you are following me on Facebook, one thing I'd like you to do is, if you can, why don't you share the video so you can let some of your friends know that you've got a bit of an interest in property, and as a result of that, you never know, you may get in contact with JV partners, etc., etc. So, you know, first rule about property, tell everyone exactly what you do, and as a result of that, I guarantee that your other opportunities will come out of the woodwork. So what we're going to be covering in the next 90 minutes. So we're going to be on for approximately 90 minutes. So first of all, we're going to cover the simple four-step deal trading system that I've been using for the last 14 years. Second, we're going to be looking at how to use my simple four-step system to find and trade one deal every month, which can make you in excess of £60,000 in income from sourcing fees on simply part-time hours. Now, I know it sounds like it's a big claim, but believe it or not, very possible and very doable. And finally, we're going to be talking about the 5 different types of deals that you must source to open up the wealth of opportunity. Now, whether you're on the webinar, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, tell me, just say a quick yes or no. Are you in the right place, and does it sound like going to be a valuable 90 minutes? Right. So why should you listen to me? Who is Arsh Ellahi? Right, I ask myself that question every day. Well, first of all, I'm a columnist in a magazine called Your Property Network. I'm very fortunate to have been asked in a magazine called Your Property Network, which is the UK's leading property investment magazine. And I got asked just over 4 years ago to write a column in there, and the column was actually about one of my HMOs, a 23-bedroom HMO, which was one of my most profitable HMOs. As a result of that, it's quite well received. As a result of that, they asked me to start writing in it. 4 years later, I still keep writing on it, so every month I write about something completely different. I'm a columnist in the HMO magazine, so I write in the HMO magazine every month without fail. I featured, believe it or not, on a Channel 4 programme called Britain's Benefit Tenants. That was aired in March 2015. I was named Entrepreneur of the Year. Actually, I was a runner-up for Entrepreneur of the Year, which was from the British Wisdom Awards in 2016. I'm a regular speaker and attendee of a number of property investment networking events across the country, whether that be the property investments, the PPN, or lots of independent meets. I'm actually doing one on the 5th of September. If anyone's local in London, they want to know where I am, I'm happy to share some details of that. Well, that's me socially. Now, what do I do in business? So I'm author of a book called Boom, Bust and Back Again. It's an Amazon #1 bestseller. And as the title suggests, property's never always been an easy journey for me. So I've seen the good times, I've seen the bad times, and I'm back again. So I'm not one of these people who've literally come into property in the last couple of years, learned about something, probably done it well for a couple of years, and now started to train about it. I've been in property in excess of 17 years. So that's 17 years. So I started full-time at the age of 20. So I'm nearly 37. So you could say that I've earned my scars. I've seen the good times, I've definitely seen the bad times, and I'm back again to tell the tale. I started a deal trading business on what I would consider student-sized savings and made a whopping £6 million profit in 3 years. And on top of that, I'm not only a property trainer, but I'm actually a mentor that has helped hundreds of people achieve financial freedom. What I'm trying to reiterate is that I walk the walk, which means that I'm still investing in property. Now, trading for me, or should I say training for me, is a secondary part. My main business is still property investment, and that's something really that you need to take away from that. So one of the bonuses that I'm going to give you for being online tonight, because I appreciate it's Sunday evening, you could be doing anything that, you know, across anything this evening. You could be watching, I don't know, any program, etc. There's lots to do. You could be spending with your family, but you decided to be here with me this evening. So I'm going to give you a bonus. For those that stay on the webinar right till the end, I'm going to give you a bonus, which is the ultimate vendor questions, which is a document that we've created where it's got all the questions that you need to be able to highlight or dodge when you're going to meet a vendor, whether that be a vendor or an investor. And I'll be giving away that right at the end of the session. So, what is deal trading? Now, let's just have a quick check. Let me just have a quick check-in online. So, who knows what deal trading is? Now, for those that are on the webinar, might lose you. Okay. Okay, right, brilliant. So, who knows what deal trading is? Feel free to just answer yes or no. Well, what is deal trading? Okay, brilliant. So, in essence, deal trading is an estate agency exclusively for property investors. Now, that sounds crazy, but it really is as simple as that. All we are is we're a glorified estate agent. Yes, there are a couple of things that you need to know about compliance and what you need to be, how can I put this? You need to make sure that you're legally compliant to be able to trade as a property trader or a deal sourcer. Depends, it doesn't matter what you badge it as. You can be a deal sourcer, you can be a property trader, you could be a deal packager. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. The fact is that you are sourcing deals and you are potentially selling them on to someone else. So whether that be a person where you're finding homeowners who are in distressed situations and then you're selling it directly on to an investor who wants it as an investment purpose, whatever it may be, you are a deal trader. I like to be called a deal trader. I don't like to be called a deal sourcer. I'm a deal trader. I've been trading properties for 17 years and I've been doing it very successfully for 17 years. So in essence, what a deal trader is that you help homeowners that have been let down by high street agents because their house doesn't sell itself. You sell the deal onto a property investor that wants to build a portfolio. Now, you can, by all means, use this opportunity to reflect this on your own property journey. Now, you've got to think yourself is that when you bought your first buy-to-let, how did you go about this? How did you do this? Did you go to an estate agent that says, I like the look of that, yes, I'll have that one? Or did you go and did you find a deal sourcer like myself? Did I email you a deal and you think, you know what, to be fair, that looks good, I'll have that? Or did you go to an auction and you start getting into a bit of a bidding frenzy and a bit of a bidding war and you say, yeah, okay, 5, 10, 100,000, 120,000, and before you know you've been carried away. Regardless, the fact is that you've had to go out and source that property. Now, the beautiful thing with the deal trader is that we get all the properties and then we put them out to you, which makes it even easier for a property investor to get involved. Now, question that I've got to ask is, why is deal trading so important? Now, if you're listening in, I don't care whether you're listening in, whether you're on live YouTube, whether you're listening on Instagram, whether you're listening in on Facebook, you tell me, why do I believe, or why do you believe that deal trading is such an important skill to have in your toolbox? Feel free to write in the comments box, and we'll take this as a moment. This is an interactive session, so everyone has to, you know, just put it in the box as to tell me what you think, and then we'll go from there. So for the guys on the webinar, let's have a quick look what you've put. Okay. So first one that's come in. So Kay, thank you for coming online. She goes, some people are just, some investors just don't know how to do it. Need to find deals regardless of the strategy. You've got the answer on the screen. Yeah, that's very true. You're not meant to say that though, Hannah. You're meant to. Okay, so Paul Bell goes, it's the first stage of being a property investor. Now, Paul, to be perfectly honest, you have hit the nail on the head. Because as a result of being a deal trader, you get to decide. Now, every deal that you see, you decide, do I keep it for myself or do I sell it on to someone else? Now, as a deal trader, you again decide very simply is if it's in your location, are you going to keep it for your own portfolio? Are you then going to sell it on to another investor because it doesn't meet your criteria? I'm giving you an example now. Now, prior to the crash in 2006, anything that was below 25, well, anything that was not really hitting my 25% discount level, I would have sold off to other investors. Anything that was 25 to 30%, I would have kept myself. And that's a beautiful thing with deal trading, is that you have that choice. You take the pick, or you keep the cream of the crop, if that makes sense. And the beautiful thing with deal trading is, Robert has clearly said, he goes, it gives you a good cash flow as well. Yeah, that's a secondary thing for me. Now, I'll tell you some stories about some of the deal trading deals that I've done this year itself. But if you're completely new to property, the reason why I said that you need to start deal trading as your first strategy is because sometimes you may not have the cash or the money to the cash as a deposit to purchase a property. Sometimes you might want to use this strategy to build up your experience, to get to understand properties, to get to understand how they work. And that's the beautiful thing with it, is that it's a very fail-safe strategy. You don't buy it, which means that you don't make mistakes. If the property doesn't sell, it could potentially mean that it's not a good enough deal. But as a result of that, every way or every step of the way, you're learning. So, you know, you've really got to look at this in lots of different details. The beautiful thing with deal trading is there are actually no tenants. So you can start and stop this at any time. Now, I'm going to give you an example here. How many of you guys on the webinar, are actually investors yourself? So you've already got buy-to-let properties, you've already got investor properties. Now, out of you that have got investment properties, how many of you are actually completely hands-off, which means that you don't take any calls from any agents, you don't deal with any of the maintenance or anything like that. You leave it completely to the agents and say, you know what, you guys do it. Because believe me, when I say this, is there are very few of you that do that. So when it comes to maintenance, you still take the call from the agent. Okay, Mr. Agent, yes, we appreciate there's a problem. Don't worry, I'll get someone to deal with it. And the problem that you got is that with that property, regardless, is that you can't exit that property at any point without having to sell the property. And that's a fact. And to sell the property, if you've got mortgage on it, you'll have to redeem the mortgage, and then any profit, any money that you made thereafter is considered a capital gain or a profit. Now, problem that I have with that, and you know, I'm not shooting down buy-to-let, I'm not shooting down investments for whatever. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't have a portfolio, because everyone should have a short, a medium, and a long-term strategy. Now, my short-term strategy, believe it or not, is deal trading. It generates cash flow from day one. Now, my medium-term strategy could be some of the developments that I'm doing, so stuff that I'm potentially building, stuff that I'm currently converting. And my long-term strategy is stuff like my buy-to-let, so the stuff that I like to call let and forget. So properties that I've got, that my property management, so stuff that I've got in, stuff that I've got that then my property management team look after, and then they deal with that. Now, problem that I've got with my buy-to-let stuff is that if I wanted to exit the market, I would have to sell that. So I can't stop that at any point. I have to, in order for me to stop that, I have to put stuff in place. I have to sell the properties, I have to make sure that they're sell-worthy, I have to make sure that I've got rid of all the tenants. So it's not as easy as that. The beautiful thing with deal trading is that because there is no risk attached to it, because you don't own the property, because you don't buy the property or anything like that, you can stop it as and when you decide to, do so. And I say this very simply, it's the ultimate freedom strategy, which means that this is the ultimate no excuses strategy. Does that kind of make sense? Because again, going back to the point, you don't own the property. All you're doing is simply sourcing the property, potentially selling the property. If the property doesn't sell, you move on to the next one. But believe me, if the deal's good enough, and if you've done your homework and you've done all the research on the property, and the property is good enough, you would be able to sell that property. So the market determines how good your work is. So guys, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to stop our live feeds on, if you're listening on Instagram, fantastic, thank you very much for coming online. If you've been listening on Facebook, you'll see on my Facebook page, we've got the links to tonight's session. So, and we're going to carry on. We've got a lot of people online. We've got multiple of hundreds of people online. So what we're going to do, we're going to carry on purely the webinar. But thank you for being online, and hopefully I get to see you carry on onto the session right now. Take care. Thank you. So fantastic, guys on the webinar. Thank you for being patient with me. Right, so we're going to move on right now. So let's keep moving on. What I am going to do, in actual fact, is just so that I know that we've got everyone right. Can everyone see me actually on the screen as well as see my slides? It's the first time that I'm doing it like this. If you can let me know, that'd be fantastic. And we can start moving on. Okay, brilliant. So, okay, made a bit of an effort for you guys tonight, so hopefully you enjoy it. Right, okay. So, as I said, deal trading is, for me, the most important tool in anyone's toolbox. Because when you're looking for property for your own, whether you're looking at it for yourself or whether you're looking to deal trade it, regardless, you need to still source that deal. And by you sourcing that deal, you get to decide whether you keep it or not. So, as a deal trader, very simply, keep losing you. So as a deal trader, your role is to find landlords and homeowners that are struggling to sell their house and to offer them a unique solution. Then you sell the deal onto a property investor for a fee, and that's where you make your money. You make property cash flow without actually buying a house. Does that kind of make sense? Have I lost anyone there? Because this is really, really... So a couple of people said that they can't see my slides. Okay, just let me know that you can see my slides. That'd be fantastic. Okay, so if you can't for whatever reason see my slides, just log out, log back in. Okay, so everyone's saying that they can see. So your role, now the way that I have to put this in simple terms. So there's three people. So you've got the vendor right up here. So you've got the vendor who is the person selling the property. Now, you've got the purchaser who's over here, who doesn't know about your property yet. And there's you right in the center. So you're dealing with the vendor, and you're also dealing with the purchaser. As a result of you finding the property, you then sell the property to your purchasers. As a result of the purchaser finding about the property through you, you get paid a fee. Does that kind of make sense? I know I'm using my hands, laughter, etc., but that's the best way. So there's three people in the equation, A, B, and C. C wants to see A, but they can only see A via B. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So sorry, I just keep flicking through and checking any questions in between. So let's keep moving on. So you might think that in your area, in a rising market, it's impossible to find below market value deals. Would you agree? But believe it or not, you can actually source across the entire country. And that's the beautiful thing about deal trading again. You don't just source in your local area. Why would you do that? Because you're limiting your market to one small entity. Or so for argument's sake, I'm based in Wolverhampton. I wouldn't just source in Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton's a small city. And yes, there might be deals, but how would you get enough deals to be able to fulfill that potential? And the fact is that you probably can't. And the beautiful thing with deal trading is that you can source across the whole country and you can trade deals you personally haven't seen. And I'll show you how. Now, the beautiful thing about tonight's webinar is, okay, so looking, Adrian said that he's lost sound. A couple of people are saying that sound keeps dropping. Just stay with me, guys, and I'll see what we can do. If the sound keeps dropping, what we might do is we'll drop the camera and we'll carry on just with the slides. So let's just use for an example. So when you source five deal types, when we talk about 5 deal types, we'll talk about these shortly. So we're looking at below market value deals, looking at lease options, we're looking at rental rent, we're looking at potential HMO and development opportunities. So there's 5 different types of deals that you can source. Traders that struggle to find deals every month are one-trick ponies that only look for one kind of stock. Does that kind of make sense? And that's the beautiful thing. Now, you guys that are on this webinar, the chance is that You've probably seen emails come out from me on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to say one thing. I make no apologies about that. Now, just out of curiosity, can you just let me know? Okay, so sorry, keep flicking. So every time I get rid of that. Can you let me know, do you see emails from me every day? Do you see deals from me that come out about different properties and different locations all across the country? Okay, so a couple of people said yes. Okay, majority of people saying yes. Fantastic. I got a little bit worried there. Okay, Ian, you're saying no, and believe me, my friend, I'm going to try and get that sorted ASAP. Right, okay. So you'll see that every day I put out a new opportunity, and believe it or not, all in different locations. And as a result of having 5 different deal types, you're not going to be that one-trick pony. You won't suffer the same frustration because I'm going to show you how to source 5 different deal types. Now, I'm going to give you an example here. If a house is worth £100,000 and your one-trick pony trick is that you can only your one-trick pony type tells you that you can only purchase it for a maximum of £75,000. If the owner's got a mortgage of more than £75,000, what do? You get stuck in your tracks and you think, well, you know what, I can't do anything with this. Whereas where I would start to flick into a different kind of mode. So I think, okay, she can't sell me for £75,000 because the mortgage is more than that, but I can do this as an assistant. So I go to a different deal type and think, well, I've got a different solution for you here. And as a result of that, my aim is to try and find a solution for that problem every time that I go to a deal. And I would say 9 times out of 10, I walk out to that property with the solution and also the property. Does that make sense? Now, the reason why I say that is that you could call me, I don't know, you may pick up the fact that I love a deal. I absolutely love a deal. I'm a real wheeler and dealer. I love the fact. And I'll let you into a little story. I've never told this before on a webinar in my whole life. I don't think I even wrote about this in my book. Now, when I was 16 years old, someone came to me and said, Arsh, would you like to do some markets with me? Well, it's actually one of my best friends. He goes, Arsh, would you like to do a market with me? And I said, well, I would, but I haven't got the capital to do it. I've got all the enthusiasm, but got no way that I'm going to be able to get any money to it. So the person that had the watch, we were actually going to sell watches and lighters. Now, when you go around these marketplaces, when you go to a market to see these guys selling, cheap watches, the watches that we were selling were very cheap. In actual fact, £3 each or 2 for a fiver. Really, really cheap watches. There weren't knockoffs, but they were very close to being knockoffs. So instead of being Tommy Hilfiger, they would be Tommy Sports. Instead of being Dolce & Gabbana, they were called D&G Sport. So it's crazy, but they were on the right side of the line of the law, which is where I like to be. And so I said to my friend, so how are we going to afford these watches? He goes, I don't know, but my friend has said that we can buy these watches on really cheap. So I said, let me get directly through to a distributor. And I said to him, right, what we're going to do, get me through to distributor and let me see what I can do. So I started speaking to him. I said, I'll tell you what I do. He goes, the watches, there were 3, we had to buy, in order for us to sell them for £3, we needed to buy them for no more than £1. And I said to the guy, I said, I'll tell you what, if you allow us to do it on a sale or return basis, which means that you give us a load of watches, and then at the end of the day, I will give you £1.25 per watch for every watch that we sell. So we'll tally up the watches. So you give me, let's say, 1,000 watches for the whole weekend. And then at the end of the weekend, we'll count up how many watches I've sold. And every watch that I've sold, I will give you £1.25 as opposed to £1.20. £1.25 as opposed to £1. What do you reckon to that? He goes, how do I know that, how do I know that you're going to do it? I said, well, let's try it initially with 100 watches. And I'll see what I can do. And at 16 years old, believe it or not, I was very wet behind the ears, and I knew that I was going to do something with them. And went out to the market that weekend, sold out completely. Sold out completely. Worked my backside off in the rain. And I had a 6-foot pasting table, so a wooden pasting table, had some cardboard boxes, and I had a bloody big mouth. Come on, guys, £3 each, 2 for a fiver, real wheeler dealer, and I sold out. And after that, went back to him and said, you know what, here's your money. can we do some more? So the volume started to increase, 200, 300, 500, and eventually gave us a credit line of 1,000 watches. And the market started to get bigger and bigger. And 16 years old, I was clearing 1,000 watches. And this just comes to show how strategic I can be a business. Now, all the businesses that I've started, I've got a group of 12 businesses in my portfolio. All of them I've started with no money. And the fact is that I just start, I keep going, I keep pushing myself out of my boundary. And this is what I want you guys to do tonight. Because deep down, all of us are wheeler dealers. Every one of us wants the fantastic and the best deal possible. And when I look at a property, it is no different. How can I do a great deal for me and a fantastic deal for the owner and also even better deal for the investor? Let's face it, the marketplace is no different. The owner in this scenario was the person selling me the watches. I was a market trader who was in essence the person selling the goods, and my end consumer was my customer that was buying the watches off me. They were getting a great watch at a great price. I managed to source stock at a fantastic price, and he was getting the price that he's after, if not a little bit more. I've never really thought about it in that respect. So where it all started, well, when I started property full-time in 2003, wow. Okay, so in 2003, I graduated with a degree in international business management, so nothing to do with property. Rather than looking for a corporate job like my mates, decided to start my own business because I wanted to live life on my own terms. When I told my friends I was going to start a property business, believe it or not, they all laughed. They laughed because they thought that in order to buy a property, they needed a deposit and a proof of income, two things which I didn't have because I was a broke student. My father was very simple. He said, Arsh, he goes, if you want to make it, you've got to go out and do it yourself. My plan was simple. Buy a property with other people's money by using stuff like JV finance. There was only one problem. With no track record, and hopefully you can resonate with this, with no track record and being 21 years old, I couldn't raise any JV finance. Seriously, would you give your hard-earned cash to a 21-year-old? Probably perhaps today you would have. But back in the year 2000 and 2001, 2002, why would you do that? After months of failure, it looked like my friends were right, that I should have gone into a safe and corporate job but then saying that, I wasn't the most academic of people. I'm one of these people that I would say, I've learned the lesson of life as opposed to academic. Now, the embarrassment of proving my friends right forced me to find another way to invest in property. A way that didn't need a deposit or any of my own savings, and a way that I had to discover out of desperation or a desperate necessity changes, which changed my life forever. Now, in 3 years, I made £6 million profit by trading properties. And this is the exact same system that I use today. System that I used to trade 250 deals last year and made £1.25 million in sourcing fee, and a system that's hundreds of ordinary people with no property experience are using to replace their salary with property cash flow within 3 months whilst juggling a full-time job. Now, I'm not saying that you have to jack in your job to be able to be a property trader. One thing that we have done tonight is that we've got in a lot of testimonials from other people who are still in their full-time jobs, and they don't necessarily, you know, I've got people that love their jobs and they just want to do this as an additional income. So tonight I'm going to be showing you how to use my deal trading system, but before you do that, I want to remind you that in order to transform your life with property cash flow, you need knowledge and action. Tonight I'm going to give you the knowledge, but you will have to take the action. I'm not here to do the action for you. I've shown hundreds of people how to use the simple deal trading system, but there's one thing that separates those who are successful and those who aren't. It's knowing why they're doing this. Now, we all have bad days, even me. Now, if you're friends with me on Facebook, sometimes I beat myself up. One of my biggest issues is that I'm probably the most critical person on myself possible. My wife even says, she goes, you're too hard on yourself. We all have days where we want to quit. You know, I have days where I'm thinking, you know what, why am I doing this? Why do I put myself under so much pressure? Because let's face it, I don't need to. I've got a very decent property portfolio. I don't need to trade. I don't need to have 11 other businesses. I could very easily live off my portfolio alone. But the fact is, I've got another rent-to-rent portfolio. The fact is that I've got, you know, multiple other different property businesses, because I've still got that drive. I've still got that desire to do more. I want to create that legacy for my two daughters, which we're going to talk about shortly. It's the reason that makes it easy for them to choose what they want most on a consistent basis. Now, talking about my reason why. Now, looking at the screen there, you've got my beautiful wife and you've got my two beautiful daughters. As you can see, they're the reason why I do what I do every day. They're the reason why I get out of bed and I'm going to push myself even further so that this young little family here doesn't have to worry for the rest of their lives. And this is where you guys have got to start to think about what's your reason why. Now, it can be materialistic items. There's nothing wrong with, believe it or not, dreaming for great things like having a beautiful car, going on a beautiful family, having a beautiful holidays, It may be what. But take a moment here to realise what is your reason why. Why are you involved in property? Why do you want to get involved in property? What could it do for you? So just write it down. Take a moment whilst I grab a quick drink as to why you want to get involved in property, why you want to do deal trading, what is your reason why. Okay, so a couple of people have put in, so, okay, so Yanni's coming. Okay, so first of all, question is, Hannah's put, can you repeat the 5 different deal types? So yes, there are below market value opportunities, there's rent-to-rent opportunities, there's lease option opportunities, there's HMO opportunities, and there's development opportunities. Yanni has put, does this system work only in the UK? No, believe it or not, Yanni, this works all over the world, and we'll talk about that shortly. So Carlos put, wants to leave an inheritance for his kids. A lot of people saying family. Okay, interesting. So a lot of people have got some very aspirational goals. So Tajinder says that he wants £100 million annual revenue. That's his long-term goal. A lot of people are saying for family life, gain assets, want to spend 24/7 with my husband, financial freedom. Okay. So to help my family and be in a position to be others with to help others with income that I create, knowing new people. Okay, so we've got lots of different reasons there. So let's keep moving on. With your reason why, you have to be specific, because if you want financial freedom, how much money would you need? When do you want this? So you've got to put yourself in a timeline. Like, for argument's sake, I've got a very specific timeline. I'm going to retire on the 11th of November 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Now, how can I be so specific? The reason why I know that I can be so specific is that I've geared all my loans on my portfolio so that on the 11th of November 2024, sorry, even me, I even get it wrong, 11th of November 2025 at 11:59 and 59 seconds p.m. The moment it goes to the 12th of November 2025, I actually turn 45. As a result of that, I become completely financially free with zero debt geared against any of my portfolio. And I've structured that from day one. Now, remember, there's a 4 simple deal trading system. So first one is find a deal. Second is agree a purchase price. Third one is build an audience. And the fourth one is sell and get paid. Now we're going to go through all 4 steps, so I need you to keep up here. So believe it or not, there are actually 21 different deal sourcing techniques that I use on a regular basis. We don't have time to go through all of them tonight. And of course that would only confuse you, because there's no way that in 90 minutes I could talk about 21 different deal sourcing techniques. But I'm sure you'll want to know which one is best, would you agree? Now the fastest, easiest and cheapest way to get started is with an estate agent, because believe it or not, what does an estate agent do? What is an estate agent involved with? Now, Willie Sutton asked, well, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. And believe it or not, estate agents are exactly the same. Why would you deal with an estate agent? because 90% of all the properties are sold through estate agents. So make your life easy and go where the properties are being sold. Does that make sense? Now, I know it sounds daft and people think, well, you're not going to get a deal from an estate agent. Believe me, estate agents only make their money when they sell their property. So if I come along and say, hi, my name's Arsh Ellahi, here's who I am, here's what I can do, here's how I can help you, shall we work together? We speak to estate agents all over the country every single day that we operate. Like I said, you might think it's impossible to find deals through estate agents, but estate agents actually need your help to sell tired properties, because let's face it, estate agents generally cater towards the homeowner market. They don't generally understand the investor market, and that's a big difference. When we talk about the homeowner market, now envisage yourself, so I'm not sure whether you've bought a property for you and your family. You're looking for that perfect home that you're going to move in with your family and you're going to build your family life in. So what they're doing, they're going around, they're looking for houses that they can market according to that market. What about the other properties, the ones that are looking a little bit tired? Now, for people, let's just say, for argument's sake, first-time buyers, if there's a tired property, do you reckon they actually want to buy a tired property to do up and move into? Some of them may do, just purely because restricting a budget, etc. But believe it or not, a lot of people don't have time for that. So what do agents do with all these tired properties? Where is their target market? The target market surely has to be investors who can potentially turn around these properties and make some profit from them. So here's a couple on screen. So we've got Helen and Gareth Firth. So here's Helen and Gareth Firth. They started working with me in January 2016. Now, less than a month later starting, they traded their first deal for a £4,000 fee. It was a 3-bed semi in need of repair, which was found through an estate agent, so it was free to get started. Now, believe it or not, these guys are based in Bolton, and guess what their full-time occupations are? They're actually in the police force. So Arsh sold the deal to his list in less than a day. It was amazing to make money so quickly with property. We now trade on average around 1 deal a month, with all our deals coming from agents. All they're doing is utilising their people skills as what they do in their day-to-day jobs or their day-to-day careers in order for them to find deals. You know, they're walking in and say, hi, my name's Garen. They're not going in and saying, hi, my name's Gareth and Helen Firth, you're under arrest unless you find me a deal. It doesn't work like that. It would be a fantastic way of finding deals. If you don't find me a deal, I'm going to put you under arrest. It doesn't work like that. What they're doing, they're using their people skills. Okay, this is who I am, this is what I do, believe it or not, and this is how we can help you. And people have worked really well with them, and they're finding that it's working really well for them. Now, here's a guy. This guy is a real inspiration. You might have seen him on a couple of other webinars that I've done, but I talk about this guy in the highest esteem possible. Now, here's a guy called Raheel. Raheel, he's actually based in Saudi Arabia, and he called me at the start of 2017. He goes, Arsh, he goes, I'm based in Saudi Arabia. Do you think this is possible? Do you think I can do it from there? And I said to him, admittedly, I said at the time, I said, providing that you've got the skill, providing that you've got the time and the ability, and you want to do this, is yes, you can. He goes, but Arsh, I'm in a different country. I said, I don't care where you are. Fact is, I'll push you through your comfort zone in order for this to make it happen. And I really wanted to make a testimonial out of this guy. So here's Raheel. So Arsh gave me all the support and advice that I needed before trying something new. Through speaking with Arsh, asking lots of detailed questions, I found the confidence to get out of my comfort zone and build a property trading business. As I'm currently living in Saudi Arabia, all of my research has been done online via Rightmove and Zoopla, which means that, again, he's not in the country. All of my deals have been sold through Arsh, and they've all sold in less than a day. This makes deal trading a very simple process, because all I have to do is find the deal and Arsh takes care of the rest. After 3 months trading deals in my spare time, I've made £15,000 in sourcing fees. That's more than I'm earning in my full-time job of 70-hour-a-week job. And that's Raheel Jakora, based in Saudi Arabia. Very switched-on guy. Very clear as to what he needs to do and how he does it. And again, let's face it, if he's in Saudi Arabia, It's in Saudi Arabia. There's a couple of things that he's got going against him. First, he's got that he's working 70 hours a week, time difference, potential language barrier. But these are all things that you've got to take into consideration. Now, if you're in the UK and you're looking at this testimonial, there's no reason why you should be doubting yourself that you can do this, because he's got all these external factors against him, but yet he's still doing it. These testimonials are not new. The system is not new. All we're doing, in essence, is finding deals and selling deals. I've helped hundreds of people improve the quality of their life with deal trading. And that's why I'm showing you old testimonials. But don't judge me on my success, because working on the basis that this year alone, we're on track to do just under 500 property transactions, 500 deals. Believe it or not, guys, on my email database, you don't see half of the stuff that goes out. My little black book buys a lot of my stock. Judge me on the success of my students. Judge me on my ability to help you transform the quality of your life with property cash flow. So, a question that's come in. Okay, so Matt's coming with a great question. He goes, Arsh, what I find tricky with agents is my mindset is thinking deal is not good enough and how to secure offline to sell onto someone else. Believe it or not, Matt, getting the agent to get the property approved and offline is very easy. What you're doing is you're not telling them all the benefits. Peter's put, in deals, is there a contract involved? Yes, there has to be a contract involved. So for argument's sake, there's like exclusivity agreements, there's lockout agreements that you need to put in there to make sure that you've got exclusivity to the deal. Now, in order for you to get a success with estate agents, there's 3 simple steps that you need to work on to sourcing success. And that is, tell the estate agents what you're looking for. Buy and trade the deals you say you will, and watch them send you more deals. Because if you go in there and say, hi, my name is Matt, I only want to look for stuff with 25% or more discount, they're going to say, thank you very much, Matt, I'll keep you posted, I'll take your card, I'll put it in the drawer, and I'll never call you again. How many times do you reckon they've heard that? How many times do you reckon they've heard an investor go and said, you know what, I'm a cash purchaser, I can complete within 7 days, I only want stuff 25% below market value. They're going to think, well, why am I going to sell to you when I can sell to someone else? Now, the 5 different deal types, again, going back to them, buy to let, so the investment properties, rent to rent opportunities. Now, did anyone see the rent to rent opportunities that we put out earlier this year in Hatfield? We do rent to rent deals pretty much every week. Lease option opportunities, we've got HMO opportunity, and we've got land opportunity as well. We've got a lease option opportunity in Hull if anyone wants it. And I'll tell you what, let's do a deal tonight. So if anyone wants a lease option opportunity, a house which has been converted, I think, into 4 flats, one's a 3-bedroom flats and 3 1-bedroom flats. I've just got to get all the information on the flats. Hi Neil Brown, yeah, okay, that might be up your street, Neil. So lease option opportunity, most of the flats are already occupied, so yeah, give me a shout tomorrow. So there we go. Neil has potentially sold the deal. Fantastic. Right, okay, so here's another guy. As you can see, guys, I'm very passionate about what I do. So here's another success story. Now, the guy that you see on screen admittedly calls me not a little bit, yes, a little bit concerned. So him and his friend, so this is Chain on the right hand side, and his friend Avi started working with me in June 2017. And he goes, because they wanted to have more time with their young families. Now, as you can see, that Chain and Avi are both very orthodox of the Jewish faith, and which means that they're very restricted with the time that they can actually dedicate to work. And I thought, okay, this is going to be quite interesting. He goes, we quickly found an investor on Gumtree by simply following Arsh's system, who wanted to sell her entire portfolio because she was getting old. Now, how many landlords do you meet? When we're talking about finding deals, it's not just people that are selling their houses because they need to upscale, whether they need to downscale, whether they're moving out of the country, whether they're retiring. You know, we've got to also be thinking of the fact that landlords also retire. Landlords also want to get out of the market as well. So there's a massive investment opportunity there as well. Finding landlords, and once you've got the landlords, you can potentially tailor it according to why they're looking to sell. Are they retiring? Have they had a bad experience with a tenant? Do they want to do a rent-to-rent opportunity? Could it be a lease option opportunity? You know, a number of different meridians of options that you can offer. Now, with Avi and Chain, their first deal, believe it or not, was an amazing block of 14 flats in Blackpool. Did anyone see the email that went out? I think this best part of, it's going to be the best part of a month ago now. This deal was 14 flats in Blackpool. Now, we put it out and we had a buyer, bought it, purchaser was from London. Arsh found a buyer through his network, and it was Arsh and the investors that viewed the property. That's a little lie. I didn't view the property. I haven't been up to Blackpool to see this, but what I managed to, what's the best way of describing it? I'm lost for words. So I put together the viewing. Now, the reason why Avi and his friend couldn't make the viewing is because it was done on a Saturday, and they don't work Saturdays because they're Jewish. Trying to get a Jew, a person of the Jewish faith to work Saturdays is pretty much impossible. We sold our first deal without viewing the property for an £8,000 fee. Thank you, Arsh, for making this such a simple process. So we've got Chaim and Avi, both guys based in Manchester, and they're fantastic deal sources. They're finding deals left, right, and centre. They're actually finding rent-to-rent deals at the moment in Manchester. They're keeping it for their own portfolio. Beautiful thing with deal trading, you decide what you're going to do with the deal thereafter. The one in Blackpool, they didn't want. It's out of their area. The one in Manchester, they're keeping for their own portfolio. Why wouldn't they? So step 2 is agree a purchase price. Your job as a deal trader is to solve property problems. Look for 2 things, and I talk about these 2 words every day of my life. If you know this already, tell me what these 2 words are. Let's have a look if anyone comes up with this. No one so far. So just having a quick look. Okay, so Matt has come in straight away and goes, big problems. Okay, it's 2 words. A couple of people coming in. No one's got it right yet. I'm not going to let Kieran do this because she knows what the answer is. Okay, so there's 2 words that I use on a day-to-day basis. What are those 2 words? Okay, so Paul, you've got it right as well, because I know that because I think you've listened to a previous webinar as well. Pain and motivation. Once you understand what the pain is, you can find out what the motivation for the sale. As a result of that, you're able to solve their problem. Most people struggle to fail to trade deals because they're only looking for a discount on their property. When you meet the homeowner, you need to solve their property problem first, not buy their house at a discount. You now know you can trade 5 deal types. This frees you from the BMV, one-trick pony trap, so that you can actually help the homeowner. If a vendor, now for argument's sake, just trying to think how I can badge yourself in the best way possible. Okay, so you go to a vendor and you say, well, in actual fact, I'm going to make a scenario up on the spot. So you go to a vendor, they're actually a landlord, they're looking to sell a buy-to-let opportunity, and as a result of that, they're not actually, the reason why they're selling is just purely because the last tenant has destroyed the property, and as a result of that, they don't have the funds to do the property up. What would you do in that scenario? Do you think that they really want you to go in there and insult them with your 25% below market value offer? Because let's face it, if they're a buy-to-let investor, chances are they've probably got 75% product on the property, so they've already got 75% mortgage, which means that by you then offering them a 25% below market value deal, you're just adding more salt into the wound. They've already got property that probably isn't worth what it was. So, you know, there's lots of ways that you can skin the cat here. What you need to do is understand. As a result of that, there could be rent-to-rent opportunity that you could do here. There could be a lease option opportunity. A couple of people thought you could do an assisted sell. So that is true. You could do an assisted sell. So there's a number of ways that you can look at it with a view where the owner isn't losing a load of money. You're getting control of a property without needing to require a deposit. And as a result of that, Just trying to think, what else could you do in that scenario? You could do an assisted sale in that scenario. There's loads of different ways that you can do it without having to acquire it or purchase it. And as a result of that, you then decide, in an actual fact, I might keep this for my own portfolio, or as a result of that, I might then package it and sell it on to someone else. I make a fee for helping the seller and the buyer by coming together. I make a fee for that. I step out the centre. I go off and go off and go off and go off and do it again and again and again and again. So the secret to solving the landlord or owner's problems is to understand their pain and motivation. What do they want to achieve, and what is stopping them from having it? Those two questions are the keys to your deal trading success, and I can't put it any clearer than that. To make a landlord or homeowner want to sell you their house, you have to wrap the solution around their specific problem. Does that make sense? Okay, so David says, can you explain the options of what a lease option is, please? I'd love to, David, but believe it or not, we would be here all evening, because lease options is an actual strategy as to what we'd have to do, and there are a couple of things that we need to have a look at. Now, the beautiful thing about being a deal trader is that you can buy that. Now, let's just, for argument's sake, who's ever been in a scenario where they've been involved in a chain, and somewhere along the chain has broken. Now, the beautiful thing with a deal trader is that a majority of the times that you're not going to be involved in a chain. You buy their house and you can complete within 7 days, and they don't lose their dream house. But the fact is that as a deal trader, you can go in and say, well, I'll tell you what, guys, you don't need to worry about losing your dream house, because providing that we can get the right deal, get the right solution, and we can sell the deal, you can still have, and you still can move on the terms that you've agreed previously and move forward. You're doing much more than simply buying their house. What the owner actually cares about is that you're helping them buy their dream home. Does that make sense? And these are things that you need to have. You need to start thinking outside the box about it. Now, what's a great one is voids and rent arrears. Now, if you offer a landlord a guaranteed income for the next 7 years, potentially what you're offering them is a rent-to-rent solution or a lease option opportunity. This solves their immediate problem and gives them peace of mind for the future. Now, I believe I've got a portfolio of 32 rent-to-rent properties, maybe 32, it might even be 35. Yeah, between 32 and 35 properties on a rent-to-rent or lease option opportunity, which means this is a completely different portfolio altogether, which is properties that I've never purchased. I've got no intention of purchasing it, I'm just using it in a cash flow strategy. And the reason why I like it is because how much would it have cost me to acquire 30 odd properties otherwise? Now, let's just say, for argument's sake, the average house is £100,000. Deposit is £25,000. £25,000 times that by 10 is £250,000. Times that by 3 for the 30 properties. I would need £750,000 just as a deposit, not to mention any works, not to mention any solicitors, not to mention any mortgage fees. Now, I've acquired 32 properties simply on a handshake. But believe it or not, we can do this again with deal trading, but without having to do the deal ourselves. Now, you might turn up and say, well, Arsh, I don't want to be a portfolio landlord of 32 properties. I don't even want to be a landlord full stop. You don't need to be. Because technically speaking, what you could do is you can agree the deal, you can sell the deal, make your money after you go to something else. I've got lots of people that have got no intention of becoming a landlord. Now, solving property problems is a fantastic one, because here's Daryl Hatfield. Believe it or not, some of the people that have seen some of the deals come out this week, some of them are actually Daryl's deals. He goes, Arsh gets you into a mindset of possibilities. The most powerful thing that I've learned from Arsh is to look for the owner's pain and motivation. That might not sound like much, but it is where the gold is. Once you understand the owner's pain and motivation, you can find a win-win solution. Find the problem, create a solution, and make a fortune in the process. Success really is as simple as that. The best example is that is a care home provider with 6 properties they wanted to get off their books. The properties were difficult to value because they were bespoke buildings. They were difficult to view because of the patients. These 2 factors made the properties virtually impossible to sell. That was the seller's pain and motivation. The problem that I had was funding the deal. The 6 properties had a £3.5 million value, and even when the discount I negotiated, I didn't have the 25% deposit. The wonder of property is that when you get a great deal, there's always a solution to be found. In this case, I funded the deal with none of my own money. Took a few months to pull off, and now it gives me just over £10,500 a month cash flow, and that's from Daryl Hatfield, because he understood what the pain and motivation was, and he put together a solution. Now, admittedly, I'm not going to talk too much about this. I am running something called the Deal Trading Bootcamp. If you'd like to invest in property, and you don't think you can because you don't have a deposit or any previous experience, then I'd love to talk to you about the Deal Trading Bootcamp. Yes, it is a 2-day workshop that removes both of the problems from your property journey and gives you the skills and confidence to start making money and cash flow from the very next day. And here's what you'll learn on the workshop. Stay with me here, guys, because we're going to go through the next 2 steps. So you're going to learn about 21 different ways to source deals, 5 different types of deals that you can trade, and we're going to look at the deal analysis for discount, cash flow, and development, or all 3. We're going to be looking at the negotiation secrets to effortlessly create a win-win solution, 10 ways to build an audience to sell your deals, and the 10-step persuasion process to instantly sell your deals. Plus, you get all the contracts and deal analyzers and scripts to get started the very next day, and a recording of the entire event. Now, normally, the investment to learn on how to build a deal trading business to replace your salary without a deposit normally costs around £2,000. But that's less than half the deposit profit you'll make on your first deal. So I'll talk to you about that shortly. Now, moving on, step number 3. So first of all, we found the deal. Next thing, we've managed to kind of figure out what the solution to the problem is. Now we need to build an audience, because having all these deals and no one to sell them to is kind of like a double-edged sword. Having all people to buy and nothing, all the people who've got the cash and nothing to buy is kind of pointless. Having all these deals and no one to sell to is again kind of pointless. So it is a juggling act. It is a double-edged sword. So to sell your deals in less than a day, you need a large database or audience of hungry buyers. There's 10 simple ways to build an audience of hungry buyers for low or no cost. Here's some of them. We'll talk about one of them now. So LinkedIn, newspaper ads, magazine ads, networking events, Google ads, Gumtree, Facebook ads, spare room, Facebook groups, easy room mate, just to name a few. Now, again, we don't have time to go through all these tonight. We'll look at one simple one and a free one to help you build your audience. And you can do this tonight yourself. Let's look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a free way to build your own database of buyers. Simply type property in the search bar, and there are approximately 5.5 million people with property in their profile, which means that, technically speaking, there are 5.5 million people that you can approach. So, guys, are you interested in buying a property? Now, just out of curiosity, how many of you on the webinar tonight have received a message off me on LinkedIn to say, guys, are you interested in buying property? Here's the kind of deals that I'm selling. If you want to get involved, please click this link. Did anyone? Okay, so Hannah said no. Okay, thank you very much. Hannah, I'd like to see that you're very, very straightforward with the answers. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Yes. Okay, so not 100% sure. So Courtney says yes. Okay, so technically speaking, shall I let you into a little secret? Guys, you don't have to physically do this as well. You can outsource this as well. So if you're saying no, believe it or not, you will get a message off me, because we've got people who are working for me, who are my virtual assistants, who are doing this for me. You can then send them a message individually. And here's an example. As we're both property investors, I'd like to add you to my network so that we can both help each other grow our businesses and avoid any costly mistakes. That's an example. You know, what you put in that, what you put in there is completely up to you. Once they've accepted your invitation to connect, you can then send them a follow-up message, let them know that you're a sourcer and you'd like to know what kind of deals that they're struggling to find. This opens a conversation in a friendly and helpful manner. Just something to bear in mind, yes, it does take time to build up that rapport, but once you've got them in your database, you know, once you've got their permission to add them to your database, you can email them deals day in, day out. Now, like I said, that's just one way of how to start building your database. I can show you ways of building up thousands of your database. Now, just so that you know, I've got a database of just short of 100,000 property investors, and the stuff that we put out generally sells. If it hasn't sold, I'd like to think that 8 out of 10 properties that go out sell. The others that may not sell, they may take a bit of time to sell, but they do in the end sell. Or if they don't sell, we'll have to go back, and it gives us an opportunity to either renegotiate or go back with feedback to the owner and say, guys, okay, here's what we've done. We've put it out to a database of 100,000 investors. They haven't exactly bit on it, or they haven't, you know, chomped on the carrot, should we say? But here's what we should do, or here's what I think we could do, that we could package it in a better manner so that we can try and give it a second run. And generally speaking, the second one will sell it. Now, step number 4 is sell it and get paid. Now, this is my favorite step for obvious reasons. You get paid. Getting to this point means that you've succeeded with the other 3 steps, but don't take your eye off the ball when it matters most. And this is where a lot of people fall, believe it or not. Just because you've got a great deal and an audience doesn't mean that it will sell easily. You need to show your audience why they should buy your deal. Now, just out of curiosity, for those that have seen my emails, would you say that my emails are quite informative? Would you say they're quite educational? Would you say that, you know, they've got lots of detail? Would you say that I give you all the information that you require so that you can visualize that this is the right property for you? Because, believe it or not, it is marketing. I've found the deal. I've done the hard part. I've got the deal. I've negotiated the deal. But if I don't sell the deal, believe it or not, I'm not actually making any money. So I need to make sure that I put as much effort into selling the deal as I did negotiating the deal, because if I don't sell it, I've made nothing. If I don't sell it, I've just lost my vendor as well. As a result of losing the vendor, word of mouth will get around that I'm not the greatest deal sourcer in the world, which is what I want to be. Okay, so Zach says they do have spelling mistakes. Come on, Zach. If that's the one thing you can pick up on, that, you know, if that's the one thing that you can pick up on, that they've got some spelling mistakes. Admittedly, I'm human, yes. And shall I be honest, sometimes I'm typing that fast because I want to get the deal out. That yes, I will make mistakes. So I apologise. You know, if I do make some spelling mistakes, perhaps I'm a little bit too eager to get it out. And yes, okay. And you'll say so, Zach. Yes, I will. I'll spend some more time on making sure that we'll get all the spelling correct. Your email has to give the prospective buyer everything they need to make an informed decision about your deal. There's a 10-step system that I use every day, believe it or not. Location, pictures, condition, market value, comparables, proof, purchase price, discount, sourcing fee, vision for the property, cash flow, total required to purchase, and one call to action. And that really is as simple as that. Really is as simple as that. I'll put it there, and you know, by all means, you can use the emails that I put out on a day-to-day basis as your template, because it works. You know, if I say that 8 out of every 10 property sells, you know, that's a pretty high percentage. And you can get started faster, because believe it or not, I'm going to give you an opportunity where you can reduce 4-step system just to 1, so that you can have less to learn and focus on, so that you can profit by faster. And that is by doing a JV with me. If you don't know what a JV is a joint venture with me. When we say JV, you find the deal and I'll sell it for you. If you source deals through estate agents and it's excuse me, so if you find the deals through estate agents, then it's free to get started. You don't need to negotiate with the owner. I'll walk you through exactly how I put a persuasive email broadcast to immediately sell your deal, so that you can confidently do this in the future. And I'll sell your deal to my database in less than a day. And this really is the fastest and easiest way to make property cash flow, because in order for you to build a database of 100,000 property investors, it's going to take you a bit of time, admittedly. I've been doing this over 17 years. Now, here's a young lady, beautiful young lady called Sarah Parks. And she's been working with me for a short while, and she goes, it's easy to think that it's impossible to find B&B deals in Scotland because of the closed bidding system for buying a house. That's definitely held me back from taking action for the first few months. However, once I decided to give it a try, I was amazed at what was possible. She made £6,000 from her first deal. She agreed a price of $65,000 on a 3-bed terraced house with a market value of $140,000, which is a whopping discount. The deal was sold within a day to Arsh's investor database. This made the deal trading process much easier, as I always knew there was a guaranteed way to trade the deal for a healthy fee. Now that I've got the proof of the system works in Scotland, I'm going to make deal trading my focus as it is so lucrative. She doesn't have to. Now Sarah also runs a service accommodation business as well. So, you know, from her point of view, deal trading is a lot less intensive because you don't have to deal with guests, you don't have to deal with booking.com, you don't have to deal with, you know, or all the profanities of, let's say, hospitality. And deal trading is very simple as get the deal of hers with an estate agent. She packaged it up, she put it through to me. I sold it to an investor. Investor goes and views it, loved it, gets the deal done. Very simply, and it is as simple as that. Now, here's a guy that I've got a lot of admiration for. Here's a chap called Russell Boakes. Arsh showed me how to use a variety of online tools to build a property business that I can run from Marbella, anywhere else in the world. Now, he's currently based in Marbella. So all of his deals have been sourced at auction and have been sold to Arsh's database. You're going to see a couple of deals come out this week, and believe it or not, these are actually Russell's deals. He goes, selling deals to Arsh's database has made the deal trading quick and easy. I'm amazed that in just 6 weeks I've gone from knowing nothing about deal trading to already selling 3 deals, making £9 in fees, all whilst living in Marbella. So I liaise with, you know, again, he liaises with agents, he liaises with a lot of auction companies, and he goes that this is the ultimate property freedom strategy, as it can be done from anywhere in the world and can be stopped at any time. If you really want to build a deal trading business, all you got to do is follow Arsh's systems and you will succeed. And again, that's Russell Boakes from Marbella. Now, this young lady, I'm just going to talk to you about her because I think she's a really, really good deal source. I think she's got a fantastic, future in property. So a lady called Sandy Bain, she's based in Derby. She's actually got a very interesting, well, I say very interesting, a very challenging job as a high-level sales rep for quite a high-level energy provider. So she goes, when I started working with Arsh, I had no previous property experience, so she had no experience whatsoever. Arsh explained the different strategies to me, and I decided on deal trading because I could get started without any money. She traded 2 deals in 2 months, making £12 in sourcing fees. It's amazing. So again, don't judge me on my success because people say what I can do, other people can't do. But judge me on the success of my students because believe it or not, I'm drilling into them every day what they should be doing. Judge me on my ability to help you transform the quality of your life with property cash flow. Now, if you'd like to invest in property and don't think you can because you don't have a deposit or previous experience, then I'd love to tell you about the Deal Trading Workshop, BOOTCAMP. 2-day workshop that removes both of these problems from your property journey and gives you the skills and confidence to start making property cash flow the very next day. So here's what you're going to be learning on the workshop. 21 different ways to source deals, 5 different types of deals you can trade, the deal analysis for discount, cash flow, development, or all 3. Negotiation secrets to effortlessly create a win-win. 10 ways to build an audience to sell your deals to. And the 10-step persuasion process to instantly sell your deals. Plus, you get the contracts and deal analyze and scripts and everything that you need to get started the very next day. Plus the recording of the entire event. Now, I did an event on this in July. What month did we win? August. Yeah, I did a event like this, my first one in July last month. I've got the whole recording of those 2 days. So anyone that is interested in this and they can't make it, believe it or not, we've got the recording as well, which is up for sale. So I'm a big believer in that everyone has the opportunity to attend, and I give everyone the opportunity to attend. So we understand that not everyone can attend events in person. We want to include everyone in this, and therefore we give you multiple ways of getting involved. So yes, you can attend in person, and I'd love to see you in person so that you can take advantage of the networking opportunity. You can actually live stream from the comfort of your own home, which means that you can be sitting at home like you're doing now. You can be watching me as we are in a big room with all full of people, and you get to ask questions as you are tonight. We've got a lot of questions to get through. Alternatively, you can purchase the recordings, which come with all the associated documents. So for argument's sake, I've got the recording from the last 2 days that we did in July that you can get access to. So for your resources, what I will be offering is the deal analysis spreadsheet, the rent-to-rent analysis spreadsheet, you've got the lease option deal analysis spreadsheet, you've got the HMO deal analysis spreadsheet, you've got the lockout agreements, you've got the property introduction agreements, you've got the proven leaflet templates, you've got the proven posters, you've got the letter sequences to for sale buyers, you've got the proven newspaper leaflet generation adverts, and you've got the ultimate vendor questions. And finally, you get the 3 main blueprints that I use, which I consult every day. Now, I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of these. Here we go. I'm going to quickly in my Dropbox deal trade. So here we go. I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of these. So I look through. This is what I call the blueprints. So these are all the questions that I ask estate agents and vendors every day that you get access to. I've got a rent-to-rent flow chart. I've got a blueprint for every time we deal with a different deal sourcer. I've got one that I use for a rent-to-rent process. So we've got so many different types of. I can go through all the different types of documents and contracts that we've got. The answer is that we can't actually go through all of them in 90 minutes. So again, you get the 3 free blueprints. So what it will do for you is that it'll allow you to enjoy quick results when every action you take is a positive step towards finding, agreeing, and selling a lucrative deal. This is unbelievably easy to do when you follow a proven system. Remember, guys, this isn't something that has been created yesterday. This is a system that has been evolving for me personally over 17 years. I didn't learn this stuff on a course that I attended last week. It doesn't work like that. You watch your income soar as you easily trade multiple deals a month. You won't suffer the frustrations of the one-trick pony sources that struggle to find BME deals. When you trade 5 different deal types, you will never be short of opportunities. You get to see the opportunity, the potential in an opportunity. The biggest thing that I would say, the secret to success to access each deal is 3 things: discount, income, development potential. So in all my emails, you'll see what it is now, what it could become, and how you could profit on it. The vision part of my emails, I would say, what they've become legendary. Because what I've seen in a property, other people would not have seen. So I'm quite creative in my approach, and you would have seen that from my background as market trader, etc. You know, how else would I have got access to all those watches without being creative? You can confidently negotiate a win-win for you and the homeowner as you present a quick solution to their problem in a way that makes them want to sell you their house. This guarantees you never waste an opportunity. You can sell all your deals in a day when you build a list of buyers on a shoestring budget almost overnight. And also, I'll be revealing how a £50 classified advert makes your phone rings for weeks. So I'll be giving you some of my key secrets as to how I got started by doing this. And you can profit by baby steps. When you JV with me, you find the deal and I'll sell it for you. I'll handhold you through the whole process. It's as simple as that. Like this, you have less to learn, less to focus on, so that you can profit faster and really focus on what really is important, which is bringing in the deal. And the investment to learn how to build a deal trading business to replace your salary in just 3 months, without a deposit, without any previous experience, while struggling at a demanding full-time job, just like Rahil did in Saudi Arabia. Now, normally, when I say normally, it is 1997, which is less than half the profit you'll make on your first deal. But here's what we're doing. I'm looking for success stories. Now, I'm not one of these people. Now, if you go on Facebook, there's lots of people out there. Oh, I've got lots of testimonials, and you don't know how good or how contrived those testimonials are. So what we're looking for is a success story. I've got lots of success stories, but what I want stories that will inspire other people with no previous property experience to transform your life with property cash flow. So if you're willing to share your property success in a written or video testimonial, then you can save yourself £1,000, which means that seriously you can attend the Deal Trading Bootcamp for $997. Plus, what I'm going to offer you is that what no one else offers you is that after the workshop, I'm actually going to give you another 4-hour roundtable mastermind session in my office in Wolverhampton, which is designed to iron out any kinks. So after you've been on the workshop, you know, you may have a few questions that you might want to iron out in order for you to be able to implement the system. It's a practical session that allows you to shake you out of your comfort zone, to out of any implementation problems you may have had, and onto the property cash flow that will improve your quality of life. And I found that on my last workshop, this worked really well. The 4 hours that I spent with the first 10 buyers was phenomenal. Now, you're going to see a deal this week. It's actually a deal in Stoke. It's a house converted into 6 flats. Believe it or not, this is a deal that came out of the 4-hour roundtable mastermind, because it was a deal that my colleague, should I say my colleague, found, and he wasn't sure that it's a real deal. Now, when he came to me and he sat down on the table, he goes, I found this, but I'm not sure exactly how we can monetize this. We sat down, we broke it down. As a result of that, we've now got it agreed with the owner. We're now going to sell it, and you're going to see it this week. So why do you need the course and the bonus? The property secrets only become valuable when you use them. Doing anything for the first time is hard and can be uncomfortable. The first time you rode a bike, you fell off. The first time you drove a car, you potentially stalled it. I know I did. The mastermind is a way of running behind you for the first time you get on a bike, so it can catch you before you fall. I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. The session is designed to push you through your comfort zone. The session is designed to help you succeed faster, and the session will give you the deal flow to achieve your cash flow goals. Now, here's when it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's on Saturday 16th and Sunday the 17th of September. Now, like I said, we're doing a special where the price is $997 per person, and the venue details are on screen. So it's going to be held at the Jury's Inn Hotel on Broad Street in Birmingham, which is central Birmingham, which means that regardless whether you're coming from Scotland, whether you come from London, whether you come from Manchester, all trains pretty much all come into Birmingham New Street or Birmingham Central Station. As a result of that, the venue is literally 2 minutes walk from the, or let's say 5 minutes walk from the station, which means that we start at 9 a.m. on both days and finish at 5 p.m. both days. And in order for you to get involved, all you have to do is follow that link, which is bit.ly /deal trading bootcamp. Now, you have to follow where the capital letters are. You have to follow those in exactly the same text. Okay. So deal starts with capital D, trading starts with capital T, boot starts with capital B, camp starts with capital C. So let's keep moving on. Now, I'm so positive that the value or the content that we've created is 100% authentic and full of content. So there is no upsell from this. You know, if you buy the course and you risk nothing because you're covered by my 100% money back guarantee. And here's how it works. You attend the first day of the workshop. If you're not completely satisfied, all you do is say, and I'll give you a full refund. Really, it's as simple as that. So you really have nothing to risk, because if you're not, you're already covered by my 100% money back guarantee. All you've got to do is click on the link below. So someone said, someone has just said, can I don't even know where that's gone now. So someone said, can I please copy that and put that in the, so there we go, send it to all. If you can copy that link there. Don't worry, I'm going to quickly go through some of these. Right. Right, okay, so like I said, we understand that there's lots of, not everyone can attend. So for argument's sake, we've had lots of young parents who can't get childcare, etc. There are lots of ways for you to attend. So it could be that you work shifts, etc., and you might want to do the live stream. You may just want the recording and all the associated documents. That's no problem. Got no issue with that. You can attend in person, you can live stream, or you can purchase the recordings, which come with all the associated documents. And after the workshop, like I said, we get another session. We get the 4-hour session, which is equivalent to the 2-hour group session. We get to look at what the best approach is, and you get access to Arsh as well. You get access to me. So my question to you is that with all this help and support, how can you possibly fail? Because I'm trying to make you accountable for your actions thereafter. You know, you coming on the workshop and learn about it is great. For me then to give you a massive kick up the backside is something completely different. Now, here's a bonus. Again, what I said to everyone at the start of the webinar is that for you, by staying on right till the end, we've given you a bonus, which is the ultimate vendor questions. Now, what I will do quickly is I'll copy the link, and I'll put that in the group. I'll put that in the chat as well. I've sent that to all, so that should be in your link there. That's a document there which has got all the ultimate vendor questions. So these are all the questions that I've come across and how we've answered them, so that it's not an objection, but they've asked you with a question, and how you answer will be the success as to whether you get the deal or not, whether they believe you or not. So that's my free gift to you. So, okay, so someone said, can you put up all the details again? So, when is, let's just have a quick look. Sorry, I've lost it. Let's have a quick look. Someone said, can you put up where all the details are? So there we go. So again, Saturday, 16th and 17th. Right, I'm going to quickly go through some of the questions. Right. Right, okay, so there's some great questions actually come through. So, you know, let's take a couple of minutes of going through. So Sharon thought the email of the deals are very informative. Thank you very much for that, Sharon. Okay, so how do you work out the sourcing fee? So Rose has asked, how do we work out sourcing fee? That, believe it or not, it actually has a science attached to it. So some of it is attached to cash flow, some of it is attached to future profits. So there are lots of details that go into that. If we work on a rent-to-rent scenario, it depends on, sometimes, let's just say that we get a 3-year rent-to-rent scenario, and the cash flow over the 3 years is going to be 30 grand. We will work on a 10% basis of that. Other people work on the basis that they charge a sourcing fee of £1,000 per year that they've negotiated. So everyone works different. So Boubacar has said, I'm interested in the video recording. All you got to do, because if you're interested, you've got to click the link, which is the bit.ly/deal trading bootcamp. Okay, so Yanni says, how many official property dealers are out now in the market? Now, believe it or not, Yanni, there will be a lot of property traders out there. How many of doing them actually correctly and successfully is a different question. So, okay, so Maharaj says, make me 1 out of 10, I'm in. So Maharaj, what you got to do is you've got to click the link. So hi Raj. So, okay, so Zach says, any chance you could talk more about the contracts you sign when you source and when you sell to your list for someone else? Okay, so Zach, just to be perfectly clear, I only sell deals which are my own deals and people who've come on my workshop, because otherwise I would I don't work with anyone that's not been through my process, if that makes sense. So with regards to contracts, so yeah, I can talk about that. So with all of our deals, I won't also put out anything which hasn't also got some form of exclusivity to it. So for argument's sake, if you've been to a vendor and they've said, okay, Zakia, we want to deal with you, I will want to see an exclusivity agreement signed with the vendor or an agent confirming that they're not trying to sell it to anyone else. Because if I'm trying to sell it on your behalf and all of a sudden there's other people in the background and they've done a deal with someone else, I would have just wasted my time and also an opportunity to sell another property. You've got to realise that I can only put out so many properties in a week, and I want to make sure that the ones that we put out are going to be the ones that sell, because they're the ones that make us money. And I want to be able to give the opportunity. What the exclusivity agreement is basically saying to you is that the vendor is giving you the opportunity to sell the property or find someone to buy the property off them in that period. What they're doing is giving you the exclusivity for that period. So pretty much like an estate agent. Estate agents have got agency agreements where the agency, they can't do sole agency, they can't do dual agency, and they've got to give them a 12-week period. We never normally ask for 12 weeks. Generally speaking, we sell our stuff within a day, so we generally get between 3 and 7 day agreements. I have had agreements in the past where we've agreed, believe it or not, 56 days. So again, it's all varies. Okay. So Salil has asked a great question. He goes, how do you value a deal? For argument's sake, for example, how would you pay for that house converted into 6 flats? Now that's a great question, because there's lots of different ways to value a deal. It could be valuing what it is today and what it is potential in the future. Is there a potential to title split the flats? Is there potential that we can title split the flats? Is there potential that we could have a look at it on its income? You know, we could look at it in a number of different ways. For me to try and break it down for you right now would pretty much be impossible. So Joe has asked a question, goes, have you got any deals in TN34? Admittedly, I'm not great with postcodes, so if you gave me an area, so for argument's sake, Tunbridge Wells, you gave me Bristol, you gave me somewhere in the UK, I might be able to help you with that. Okay, so Hannah, hi Hannah, I remember you, Hannah Jones, how are you? So she goes, what offer can you give, as I've attended a deal sourcing course before? Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. What I am going to do. Right. Okay. Just so that you know, guys, there's actually 4 places left. So we've had 6 people sign up. Fantastic. Well done, guys. So 4 people. So if you want to get involved in the roundtable, you've got 4 opportunities to be able to do that. So you've got to be quick on that. So let's just have a quick look. Okay, so yeah, we've got some interesting people that are coming on. Right, okay. Okay, maybe 3 people left. Right, okay. We can't do an offer on the price. What I can do is I'll potentially allow you, if you want to bring a partner with you, instead of charging you 2 full full prices, I can probably do buy one, get one half price. So if that's of interest to you, you can let me know, because I haven't created a link for that because I wasn't intending on offering that. So if that's of interest to you, if you want to bring a business partner with you, give me a shout and I can create that. Okay, so Ludmilla, and apologies if I've pronounced that incorrectly, she goes, will you record it and can I listen to it again? With regards to the workshop, anything that we've done is going to be fully recorded and you get access to recording anyway, so you can listen to that back at your leisure, whether that be in a week's time, whether that be in a year's time, you've got those documents there. So Sharon said, how can I JV with Arsh? Very simply by coming on the workshop. I only JV with people who I've trained. That's the honest answer, because if I JV with people who I haven't trained, I'll spend so much time trying to teach you what to do and how to do. You know, pretty much I'll be training you for free anyway, and that's not what I do. Okay, so Casimir says, okay, let's say I'll give you a BNB property with few details, and what if you get in touch with the vendor directly and skip it? Casimir, should I be honest? I've got far too many better things to be doing than trying to cut you out of a deal. And let's face it, I'm not that unethical. You can speak to all the people that I've trained and anyone that we've done a deal with. We generally speaking, you know, I can pretty much guarantee that they can all say that they've all been paid. Okay, so Sean has asked a question. Can we JV with you or sell deals through you and your workshop without attending the boot camp? Unfortunately not, Sean. Okay, so people are saying that the free PDF's not working. Okay, let me just have a quick look. Let me have a quick look. Sorry. Right, I know what I've done. Right. Okay. So the free PDF link, I put bit.ly/. I've just resent it. Okay. So yeah, Kenyon has asked a question. He goes, "Can I be a sub-sourcer?" Which means that can I offer the deals that you have to people that I know and have a commission for that? If so, how can this be organised in a way that the investor does not feel robbed by paying two separate sourcing fees? There are ways that you can work with other sources, Kaylin. So if you've got a group of dedicated buyers that you want to sell to, there's nothing stopping you from selling my deals onto your database. Problem that you've got is that probably by the time that you've sold it to your database, I've already sold it, because my deals move very quickly. And if your guys are taking 3 or 5 days to try and make a decision, chances are I've probably sold it by that point. Okay, so Mike says, looking forward, booked onto a bootcamp. Fantastic, thanks, Mike. Okay, so just let me know that that new Bitly link has worked for the ultimate questions. Okay, so Hannah says, how many students have you taught these strategies to? So believe it or not, Hannah, I've only ever done one of the workshop with this, and on that workshop there's only 20 people on there. So, but believe it or not, you've got to remember that me and you could both be in the same room. Sorry, me and you could both go to the same properties. And this is a great question, actually, Hannah. Now, the fact is that me and you could both go to the same property, and the fact could be is that you would probably walk out with the property instead of me. The reason being is that sometimes the vendor might not always get on with me and they may build a rapport with you. So regardless, I've had people who have, myself and someone else has approached about the same property, and I've got the deal as a result of the other person. Why? I've built them with more confidence. I've approached them with more confidence. I've provided them with lots of different solutions, and as a result of that, I've managed to walk away the property. And some of my other students, both of them approached. I'll be very clear. If 2 people have approached the person with the same property, I will only deal with the person who approached me with it first. I'm not into the scenario of getting into a scenario that, oh, I found it first, I found it second. I don't work like that. Okay, so how many of them have gone off, found and sourced deals? Believe it or not, a load have. So the deals that you're going to see in Stoke-on-Trent, the people that came on the workshop. So some of the deals that we've seen over the last week that were in the process of negotiation, the one that came out in Surrey early this week, near enough sold, just waiting on the some disclosures on some further questions. That sold. That came from a lady called Marcia. With the HMO that you've seen over the last week in Doncaster, come from one of the people on the workshop. So yes, a lot of them have actually gone off to do great things. Okay, so let's have a go if you right, let me just quickly go. Okay, so Yanni's asked a great question. He goes, do we need special registration or any ID to become property traders? Yes, you will need to, or part of the things that we'll talk on the workshop is about compliance. So you will need to be registered almost like as if you are an estate agent with HMRC. There'll be specific indemnity insurance policies or policies that you'll need to in order to become a deal trader. So there are a couple of things that I'll be telling you about. Okay, so Daniel put, if I do JV with you, how much do I get per deal? So we go complete 50-50 on every deal that we do. So whatever the deal sourcing fee may be, so if it's £3,000, we do 50-50 split on it. Okay, so Steve says, okay, we've just talked about legal documentation. Okay, so Carl says, do you only JV with people who've been on your bootcamp? Yes, that's correct. Okay, and Ramo says, do you take the fee after the completion? No, believe it or not, Ramo, we take our fee pretty much straight away as soon as someone agrees to take it, and then we only split the fee upon completion, just purely because we need to make sure that the deal goes through. Okay, another question. So how do you get in contact with the vendor to know what their paying is on the market? How do you get in contact with the vendor to know their paying if it is on the market? Believe it or not, remember, Rose, sometimes you don't have to deal with the vendors. Sometimes you can do a lot of the deals through estate agents. Okay, so hi Arsh, you mentioned land deals that you can sell them within a day, considering with or without planning. Okay, Tony. So yes, you can do land deals. Now, Land deals may take slightly longer to sell. I'm not suggesting that land deals will sell within a day. It's just purely because if they don't have planning permission, people will want to go off and do their due diligence. If they do have planning permission, you'll need to have further costings such as build costs, etc. And also you need to make sure that the deals are going to stack up and whether they're financially viable. Okay. Okay, so a lot of people saying, how often do you have lease options coming through? Believe it or not, we have quite a few lease options coming through purely because sometimes rent-to-rent deals are great, but with lease options, if you attach a lease option to purchase in there, then yeah, we try and get them through there. Okay, so Hannah says, I'll pay the full price, can I bring the partner? So Hannah, yeah, if you just let me know tomorrow if you want to bring a partner, and we can agree the 50% for the partner. So when will the recording be available? If you want the recording for the last course, I can actually post it out as of tomorrow. So happy to do that. So Cully says, will I be holding another course in October? Chances are not. This will probably be one of the last ones for the year. Just quickly go through. I've downloaded it. Fine. Okay. Okay. So Raj says he's booked on. Okay. So it should be a bit. Got it. Thanks. Got it. Got it. So everyone's saying that they've now got the link. So Arezki says, can I bring a partner with me? Like I said, Arezki, what we're doing is we're allowing you to bring a partner for 50% as opposed to 2 days. Okay, if you want to get in contact with me, let's see what we can do. Okay. So Wayne says, how much is the recording? So Wayne, with all due respect, the recording is exactly the same price because you are still getting 2 days full worth of content plus all the documents attached to it. Okay, let's just have a quick look. Okay, so Mike said, I'm not able to attend in September, but I've already paid it. Can I get the previous live recording? Yes, you can get that as of tomorrow. Okay, so I think I've pretty much answered all the questions. Unless there are any other questions, then I can then we can touch base on those. What I would like to do is let's quickly. Sorry, let's just quickly go through. Okay, so finally, I'd like to say thank you for taking the time to learn how you can replace your salary with property cash flow within 3 months, without a deposit or any of your own savings, without any previous property experience, whilst juggling or demanding full-time job when you trade deals. Hope you can now see how anyone can get quick results when you follow a proven strategy with consistent action. If you've still got unanswered questions, and admittedly there will be, because we can't always get everything through within 90 minutes, we've been just over 90 minutes, feel free to contact me directly on my mobile number, which is on the screen there, 07967 016 425. You can email me directly at arsh@arshellahi.com. Okay, so Hannah's just said, can I just put the details of the venue back up? So it's going to be at the Jury's Inn, which is Broad Street, Birmingham. Again, it's on the 16th and 17th of September, so hopefully that's helped. So guys, I suppose on that note, I'd like to say thank you all very much for your time. It's been a fantastic session. You know, I think it's the first time I've done it where I've actually shown my face because people thought that I was just a person behind the screen. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've seen that this is the real deal. This is stuff that we do. And the fact that I can tell you it's a real deal, it's just very simply because these are the things that we put out every day. These are the deals that we put out every day. These are deals that you can see that we're doing every day. So guys, on that note, I'd like to thank you very much all for your time. Any questions, feel free to come back to me. I'm not one of these people that you can't approach. You know, I'm not one of these people that you can't get in contact with. Yes, I do get a lot of calls, but you know, I try and get back to everyone as quickly as I can. So guys, on that note, I wish you all the very best, all the success in your property journey, whether you decide to work with us or not. And I will speak to you all, no doubt, very soon. Take care. Good night. God bless.